On President Biden's trip, let me turn to Khalil Jahshan. He's the executive director of the Arab Center, Washington, D.C. Khalil, welcome to the program. So much to talk about. Let me begin with President Biden's trip to Saudi Arabia. As you know, there's been some criticism because of the Saudi human rights record. What kind of message does this trip send to the rest of the world when Mohammed bin Salman is the person CIA concluded ordered the killing of journalist Jamal Khashoggi?
First of all, I think it's more than one message per se, but I would say first of all would be the message that oil trumps shared values or moral values in U.S. foreign policy. So realpolitik kicks in instead, and whatever statement Biden made during his campaign and after he became president about the pariah state no longer stands. Second, the bilateral relationship between Washington and Riyadh is very important in terms of oil, in terms of strategic considerations, in terms of weapons, arms sales, and what have you. And the fact that it has been going through some difficulties had to be faced by the administration, and therefore this trip came about.
Let me move on to the meetings in Bethlehem. Biden's meeting, joint news conference with Mohammed Abbas. Didn't hear the word occupation, didn't hear the word settlements, only a commitment to a, if you will, an elusive two-state solution. How disappointing was that for the Palestinians, and what did they want to hear?
Extremely disappointing for the Palestinians, particularly the public at large. They wanted to hear not just words, frankly. They are at the receiving end of the stick in terms of 55 years of continuous Israeli military occupation. They wanted that to stop. All they got is words of sympathy from the president. And frankly, the region since 1948 has a huge cemetery of sympathies and good intentions. It hasn't ended occupation. It hasn't solved the Palestine problem. And that's what the Palestinians wanted to hear, at least a slim hope that this democratic administration committed to a two-state solution knows that means end to Israeli occupation, recognition of Palestinian rights, independence, Palestinian statehood, but to keep referring to commitment to the two-state solution in vague terms doesn't feed bread, as they say in Palestine.
And Khalil, how much of a problem is it when the Palestinians don't really see the U.S. as an impartial party here? I mean, from the growth of Israeli settlements in occupied Palestinian territory, unwavering support for Israel at the UN. I mean, the list goes on and on.
Well, I mean, again, most Palestinians have outgrown that myth that the U.S. can play an even-handed neutral role. The U.S. has never been neutral in this conflict, and a case in point is Mr. Biden. Just simply compare his speech before the Israeli public and Israeli leaders to that of his speech to the Palestinians. There is no comparison. Compare his aid package to Israel to his aid package, including the insulting addition this morning that the USAID is adding $15 million in humanitarian aid to the Palestinians. That doesn't even buy each Palestinian in the West Bank and Gaza a falafel sandwich or a shawarma sandwich, which is about $10 to $14 in Jerusalem these days, and that doesn't even come to that. So maybe they should buy a sandwich without the pita, I guess, based on that. At the same time, Israeli citizens get $600-700 per capita, and in the normal 3.9 billion we give them a year. In addition to, when you look at that Jerusalem agreement that they signed, there is a lot more aid going their way. So they're probably getting more than 10,000 per capita compared to the meager few dollars that's thrown at the Palestinians.
Khalil, your phone is ringing, so we'll let you go answer your phone. Khalil Jahshan, thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.